There were so many trick-or-treaters out this year. I don't even have any candy left. Well, regardless, it is Halloween, season of spooks and scares and ghouls and goblins. But today, I have an equally spooky game to review for you guys. And that game is The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge. What the heck?
One, two, three. Together's the key. La 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 la. Hail to Mr. Oogie, Jack will never win. When you find our booby traps, they will do you in.
Because Mr. Oogie Boogie is the meanest guy around.
If I were on his Oogie list, I'd get out of town.
Come on, what the heck is going on here? Oogie Boogie?
Let's say we have some fun.
What do you mean by that? Wait, walk? I don't even know how to get back.
Are you still here? Why don't you oogie on back where you came from? You're cramping my style.
Two months. It took me 2 months to get back here. Oh my god, I'm freezing. Alright, well now just gotta fix my hair. It was a long journey back, but anyways, now that we're in the game room and I got Oogie's Revenge, let's quickly dive into what the story is for this game. The Nightmare Before Christmas, Oogie's Revenge was a video game sequel to the classic 1994 movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Everybody knows this movie, where Jack Skellington gets bored of Halloween and tries to take on doing Christmas as well, with poor results. Well, how does this sequel hold up compared to the original movie? Let's boot up the original Xbox and find out. Oogie's Revenge takes place 1 year after the events of the original movie, on the following Halloween. Jack is still not happy with how Halloween is, and he wants to figure out a way to spice it up a bit. After being given a gooey substance called the Soul Rubber by Dr. Finkelstein, Jack leaves to God knows where to find a way to make Halloween more exciting next year. While Jack is away, Lock, Shock, and Barrel try to figure out a way to bring Oogie Boogie back, to which they succeed. Very simple story, nothing too complicated. The same can't be said for the gameplay though. Once we get into the game, this isn't the standard licensed game platformer that we're all used to. This game kind of feels like a Devil May Cry game, which makes sense given that they have the same exact developers. For those who don't know what Devil May Cry is, it's an action-heavy game with fixed camera angles and lots of combat. Oogie's Revenge is no different. Heck, you are already facing up against a boss within just minutes of starting the game. Oh wow, we're getting started already. This boss fight is honestly really easy, just kinda getting you used to how the game controls. Except this boss fight is probably a bit different than you would expect a boss fight to be. While yes, there is a lot of combat, there is another element to every single major boss fight that you should know about. You see those colorful music notes that are kind of being scattered all around the arena? Well, collect enough of them during the fight and a rhythm minigame sequence will commence. Here, remixed versions of the original Nightmare Before Christmas movie soundtrack are used for this game's rhythm sequences. While people may have some mixed thoughts about the game's soundtrack, I actually kinda like it. While it's nowhere near as iconic as the original movie's soundtrack, it's fun enough to complement the gameplay well here. Okay, I know people heavily disagree with this opinion, but I personally think the music kinda suits the game, and like I said, it's not as iconic as Danny Elfman's original soundtrack, but it's still really freaking good. But I will say, there are some songs that you will be hearing in this game quite a lot. Anytime you get into combat, renditions of certain Nightmare Before Christmas songs will play, like This Is Halloween and Take Our Town Back, which is a parody of Making Christmas. While they're not bad, you will be hearing these songs a lot whenever enemies gang up on you. You'll always know when enemies are coming though. The game will let you know by basically screaming at you.
Jesus!
Speaking of the combat, let's get into that. Jack has the Soul Robber, which I mentioned earlier, which can be used in many different ways to attack all the enemies. You can use the X button on the Xbox controller to do a general attack, using the stick to aim, and you can do combos like a cool spin move that'll hit all the enemies around you. Using the Y button will let you grab enemies and slap them around. Or if you hold the Y button down before grabbing the enemies, you will spin them around, causing massive damage to all the enemies around you. It can honestly be a lot of effort sometimes though, as the auto aim that this game has is less than ideal. But the combat itself is fine, nothing crazy, but I'm telling you, you will never forget what the Soul Robber is called, as whenever you hit the Y button and Jack grabs onto something, he will scream out the Soul Robber's name. I don't know why so many licensed games have the characters saying these same quotes over and over and over again. I'm sure it was some sort of limitation of, how the characters say certain lines, but I don't know, it can just get really annoying. Anyways, let's move on to the meat of the game. This game, as a great game reviewer would say, is one of those where the fuck do you go kind of games. This game has a map that will sometimes tell you where you need to go, but the game can be very vague about what you need to do or where you need to go. For example, there's a chapter in this game where the clown with the tearaway face is stuck on his unicycle, which has had engines strapped to it. One of the witches says that you need to get a tool to get the engine off, but doesn't really tell you where you'd get said tool. Well, it turns out you gotta go to Dr. Finkelstein's lab to get it. Makes sense. But then if you talk to Igor in the lab, it'll start this secret mission where you need to find his stolen biscuits, where he says that he heard someone take them into a manhole but doesn't tell you where this manhole is. You wanna know where it is? Hidden behind the lab. Okay, I know that this is a secret chapter, but this is really freaking cryptic. Maybe I'm just stupid. Don't comment on that, but this just really leaves me scratching my head. There are lots of levels that really feel like a maze to complete, including 2 literal mazes, with one of them literally being in a room filled with lava. This game can get pretty hard as well. It is very easy to get overwhelmed by enemies, or to struggle with the platforming that the game can sometimes demand of you. And as you progress through the game, those rhythm segments get really fast and difficult. It's hard to keep up with it. God dang! I will say, as someone who loves rhythm games, I like that these segments are a bit hard though. There is no better feeling than absolutely nailing one of these segments and taking out a bunch of bosses' health, especially with the harder bosses. Speaking of this game being really freaking hard, here's a little tip for you. Do not forget to save. You see this guy? He will soon become your best friend because this game does not have an autosave feature. If you die or shut off your system, you could lose a lot of progress if you don't stay up to date on saving the game. Because of how hard this game can be, I highly recommend saving with him anytime you come across him after making significant progress, especially because in some portions later in the game, he will even refill your health. Now that you know how the game functions, let's talk about the story a little bit more. As I mentioned, Oogie has been brought back to life and is now terrorizing not only Halloween Town, but all of the other holidays as well, in an effort to become the 7 Holidays King. He's kidnapped all of the other holiday leaders and has seemingly propped himself up as the king. So now, Jack has to fight his way through loads of Oogie's goons to try and restore order to Halloween Town, as well as saving all of the other holidays. You'll visit loads of iconic locations from the original film, like the Town Hall, Dr. Finkelstein's lab, and Spiral Hill, just to name a few. There is one iconic location, though, that when you get there, you wish that you could just leave, and that is the Hinterlands. In the Hinterlands, Oogie has transformed all of the holiday doors and completely corrupted them, and we have to go and get all of the original holiday doors back into their spots. Sounds simple enough, but the Hinterlands is an absolute maze of a forest with dead ends and branching paths winding throughout. Navigating this forest is hard enough, but that isn't even the hardest part. Every time you get a holiday door, the only way to remove the corrupted one is to go through a time trial type of challenge. These challenges were the bane of my existence and made me want to tear my hair out. Go! Take the Thanksgiving door, for instance. Here, I have 3 minutes to take out all of these enemies, but I swear, no matter how much I try, they just keep spawning. Gah! They just don't stop coming! After beating that door's horde and saving in case some shenanigans happen, I navigate the maze of the Hinterlands and fix the rest of the door and end that absolute nightmare of a level. Just to then be pushed into a boss fight against these two giant strong enemies. Now, if you have the power-ups, this boss fight actually isn't too bad. But because of all the BS from the last level, I had to use all of my power-ups just to get through to this, which means I got to go and do this whole boss fight without power-ups. Now, I could just reload the game and go to the witch's shop to buy more before starting this chapter, but that would mean I'd have to quit and reload the game, and since the last time I saved was only after the Thanksgiving door, I'd have to do the rest of the level after that all over again. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to tough through this one. Whew, thank God. That was really frickin' hard. Anyways, after all of that, we finally make our way into Christmas Town. Yes, after 22 of the 24 chapters are complete, we finally get to Christmas Town. Finally, something to justify this being a Christmas special. We have to save Sandy Claus, and honestly, at first, this boss fight really frustrated me, but once I figured out the pattern in which the trains were coming and how to, navigate pulling the switches, it wasn't too bad. Well, either way, after this boss fight, Oogie steals Sandy's sleigh, but not before one of the elves puts a little jack-in-the-box inside of it to scare Oogie Boogie out of the sleigh. Man, these elves may look cute, but they can be frickin' devious. This sends Oogie crashing down to Earth and calling upon his bugs to make him ginormous for the final boss battle. Here, you have to knock his health down by either attacking his feet with the Soul Robber or using the Pumpkin King Jack to light up the gas coming out of the gas pipes. Do that a bunch, and you've got him defeated. Heck yeah! Down he goes! So that's it. That is Oogie's Revenge. Now, what are my final thoughts on this game? Now, I really think this game is quite... Oh my god, he isn't dead. Yep, this game did a classic bamboozle on us. This is where we begin Phase 2 of the boss fight. Phase 2? Yep, Phase 2. Of course, every boss battle in this game has a rhythm segment, as we all know. So all we gotta do is complete this last rhythm game segment, and we've got him beat. Alright, it's time to lock in. This is gonna be a doozy. Go! Go! Oh shit, I'm missing him! Oh, I think that's it! Yes! Oh, now he's dead! Yep, For real this time. Oogie dies, Sandy gets to deliver his presents, and Jack and Sally hug on Spiral Hill, marking the end of this story. So, what did I think of The Nightmare Before Christmas Oogie's Revenge? It was pretty good. Yes, it's not a perfect game. The camera can be wonky, the controls aren't the best, but honestly, this game captures the essence of The Nightmare Before Christmas pretty well. From the aesthetics of each of the levels, to the fact that a lot of the cast had returned to reprise their roles for this game, and yes, even the controversial soundtrack. While I don't think this game is going to be one that everyone will love, I think it's one that is a great game for the fans of Nightmare Before Christmas, and as one of those fans of the original movie, I personally think it's a really good game. So thank you all for joining me. This was meant to be a Halloween special, but when Oogie Boogie kidnaps you, that kind of puts a little bit of a damper in my original plans. But I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and of course, a Happy New Year. And here we go, cheers into 2025. This has been here for 2 months. Oh, that was bad. Oh, that was bad.